Yeah.
We've got that now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. It is 12:03. Happy Monday, everyone. I am super excited to be having our wonderful, amazing, super popular, extremely well-known Stacey Turner. Take it away, girlfriend.
Oh, goodness. Okay, that's quick. Well, Sharon asked Sandy and I to talk today and to do this lunch and learn with you guys. And so she asked some of her team, Sandy did, like, what would you guys like to hear about? So if there's something you want to hear about that we don't cover today, just put it in the comments of the chat and we can address that one too. But one of the things that came up was, how do you attract team? And then how do you start those new team members up? Okay, so we would love to hear from you guys too. This isn't the Stacey show, as Sharon always says. We want to hear what's working for you guys as well. But I did want to share some things that I have found along the way to help build or bring in team members. So one is understanding it is a numbers game. Like, you've got to talk to a lot of people to find the ones that want to be a team member. And I heard this a couple of years ago and I was like, I wish I had known this all those years ago when I was sitting someplace in the marketing plan, frustrated that I wasn't an NMD yet. To be a national marketing director, you have to have at least 30 people direct to you. Okay, so on your genealogy report, you would need at least 30 people that are direct to your business to find 5 sales coordinators that are actively building. So if you're sitting at 10, can you be frustrated that you're not a national marketing director? That was totally freeing to me. I was like, okay, I just don't have the numbers to find enough, in those numbers to be able to find the ones that are really going to do this business. So it kind of takes the pressure off as well, because like, if you're sitting at 3, you sure can't be frustrated, that it's not a national marketing director, right? So that really just means we've got to bring in more people. So attracting team members is important, but even more than attracting team members is just asking people to join. I think we make a lot of assumptions for people that they wouldn't want to, that they're too busy, that they already have a job, they already have a career, they have too many kids, I don't know, whatever it is, we make up all kinds of things for them, and we don't know where somebody's at, and we can make a lot of assumptions and miss out on a lot of things. So who's the most excited about Juice Plus is the brand new customer, right? They just gave you their credit card. They're, really hot on the information about Juice Plus. They're like, okay, this is really good. I'm excited about this. Wouldn't it make sense to invite that person that's the most excited right now into joining you and doing this with you? So I would love for you guys in the chat to say, I think it's kind of a mix of both, but I find a lot of leaders became customers and team members at the same time, like pretty much within like a week of each other. And I see the girls shaking their head. If you became a distributor and a customer at the same time, you have the mindset, everybody's going to become a customer and a team member at the same time. Why wouldn't you? And we're probably more open to sharing that at the point of sale, if you will, or in that initial conversation with someone. If you were a customer for years, months even, or years before you became a team member, then you may have the mindset that your customers have to be customers for a long time before you invite them in to be a team member. So then you may find you've got delayed response time between actually finding team members. So just check your mindset about that. It's the same way too. If you heard about Juice Plus and it made sense to you, you ordered within a couple of weeks or even like on the spot, then you're going to assume this is going to make sense to everyone. Everyone's going to order right now. And you may be frustrated with the people that wait. And you get, you're like, I don't know, they're not ordering right now. I guess they don't really want this. Moving on, and you're out with them. If you took a long time to learn about Juice Plus and you went to a couple presentations and watched videos and had a lot of phone calls, then you can assume everybody's going to need that much time, and you don't ask the people hey, would you like to get started? Because you're assuming, no, they're going to need months of information before they're going to do the same. So that same mindset can be transferred over to team members. If I think a customer is going to be a team member after 2 years of customer care, because that's how I did it, then I'm not going to invite them in right away. I'm going to just spend a lot of time on customer care with them and maybe not have that conversation or be hesitant about that. So just like it takes a lot of time or multiple times in drips of information to somebody and sharing the product with them, it's going to probably take the same amount of drips with people and exposures with them before somebody becomes a team member. So that could look like multiple exposures on the prospecting side. They become a customer and a team member at the same time, and then you move forward. Or it could be a lot of prospecting, a customer, more prospecting, and a team member, right? But it's on both sides. So just be patient with that process, but make sure, just check your mindset. Are you putting a barrier up in front of somebody and expecting them to move on your timetable, whatever timetable that is? And if you guys don't mind, mute yourself out, that would be helpful. So that's the first thing I would look at. And then if that customer is the most excited right then that's when we invite them in. Now, a lot of times that doesn't look like me saying, or I can say it never looks like me saying, hey, do you want to be a distributor and sell this Juice Plus with me? Like, that's just not going to go well, right? But it's more a conversation like this. Okay, a husband and a wife just ordered Juice Plus for them and for their family. And I'll say, you know what, I cannot wait to get you guys started. This is so exciting. You're going to see so many great changes, from 17 years of being with this. I know you have made a great decision. And here's what I have learned. When you find something that's as, helpful as this, it's hard to keep it to yourself. So I just want you to notice in the conversations in the next week, how many times people bring up health and wellness or illness or sickness or being tired. There's people all around us that need more fruits and vegetables. So if you're like me, it was like easy to get into conversations with people. I knew I had found a solution. I had to share it with them. There's moms out there that are tired just like we were, and we have something to offer them. And everybody knows they need more fruits and veggies in their diet. Let's share this with them. So, if you find yourself talking to people about Juice Plus, I want to help you with those conversations. Just let me know when you get into that, and I will show you what to share with them to help them, learn more about it. And they're like nodding their head. So I'm teaching them the process, right? Listening in conversation for a need, and then you share a resource with them. That's what I just taught them in just that little bit of conversation. So then my job from that point on, if they say if that point they're like, oh yeah, I've already told my mom about this and my sister was asking for information, then I'll say, oh, perfect. Here, let's send them these videos. And look, I think this might be something, you're already doing what I do. Your orders can totally go under you. And then your mom's going to order with you. I said, if you send her to me, I don't know her. She's going to think I'm just trying to sell her something, but you have the relationship with her. Doesn't that make more sense for you guys to stay together, her order to stay with you? And again, they're like, yeah, that does make more sense. Okay. So then I'm just planting those seeds. Like, this is like a no-brainer for them, right? So I'm planting those seeds. She may not say yes right then, but that's an exposure. It's an invitation in, and it's, a process of education after that. So let's say she says, yeah, that does make sense. I've already want to share with them. I'll say, okay, all we need extra off of your order form, just flip it over, put your social security number and your birth date on there. And then I'll put you into the system and we'll put your orders underneath you. And what's great is you're going to get money back on your own orders. Like, you get a rebate back. And then anybody that orders with you, you get some money back on theirs too. It's a great way to offset your cost. And then you can use that to get the omegas because, you were kind of watching your budget with that. And they're like, oh yeah, that'd be great. So I'm still not saying like, let's do this as a business. Let's grow this. I'm planting seeds in their mind. Who can we help? And then just kind of judging by them. Like, at that point, I can say, maybe like, what could this do for you? Have you ever thought of doing a job, a side business, or, I should know by then, like what their daily job is, if they're, stay at home mamas, or if they have a practice, or, something like that. So I can weave what their needs are. They've already told me that if I've been asking great questions, and then I bring this in as the business side as a solution to those issues. I know your husband's job has been kind of rocky. What do you guys have as a plan B? Have you ever thought of doing something on the side to build in some stability income wise? I know you mentioned that you had been working before the kids, and it's kind of been, you feel a little bit lost just being at home. Have you ever thought of building something on the side that's yours, a business that you can grow? That's one of the things I've loved. I share, a lot of my own story within that. So most of the time, my new team members are going to come from my newest customers. And then from there, you just don't know what their engagement is going to be, right? Again, it's like a little chess game that you play with them. If they're talking of other people, then I know, okay, they have potential to bring in some customers. I'm going to start moving into activity with them and making sure I'm giving them the tools to be able to share. I don't do a lot of training. So I don't want to get on the computer and say, okay, let me do some training with you. I just find that doesn't work. Training can come later. They don't need to know how to use that dang virtual office. None of us know how to use it either. Why do we want to teach them how to use it? Like, all I want is them thinking, who do they want to share with? Make a list of those 10 people. Who can we share with? I want to get them to set up 3 events. And that's the tricky part, right? Because to get you in front of their people, that's trust. Like, they have to trust that you've got their best interest at heart, their people's best interest at heart. Like, I get it. There's a lot of trust factor. That may not come for 4 months, honestly. It just might not. It's okay, but you're going to continue to build that relationship. Now, somebody who's been a customer of yours for 4 years, they've got a great story, that trust factor is already there. Let's just move them into activity. Let's get 3 dates on and let's go. All right. You're probably going to have more flexibility with that. If you've helped them identify that stronger why of why would they want to do this, and they've got that in their mind that this could be the vehicle to get that why delivered, they're probably going to be more likely to do those 3 events. But I'm not sitting down and having them fill out a why sheet. It's just odd. It just is. It really needs to be more conversational until you get that trust there. Then you could sit down with them or have them just think it out. But that's not a normal everyday thing that you would do, right? Like, even an employer that's like in an interview, they don't say, okay, I'd like for you to fill out this why sheet of why you would like this job. You were like, I don't know, because I need money. Like, it just would be kind of odd to have that conversation. So kind of think of it that way. We speak a lot of like, network marketing language that is very different because we are about personal growth, and we know that there are options out there and there are ways to create income, and a lot of people just have never even gone that direction. You're just starting to introduce a lot of them to that concept. And then I would say, once you've got some events set up, even if it's just one event, which would be some sort of launch call for their friends and family, their closest people, or a smoothie time where they invite their neighbors over to make a smoothie. Like, you kind of got to fill out what's going to be what are they most likely to do event wise, and then make sure it goes well and that it's just a smooth event and it's fun and it's engaging. They're going to be hesitant to invite, so you got to give them the verbiage to invite. Like, you make the flyer for them. You're doing a lot of hand holding with them. But if you don't see them moving back and you feel like you're pulling them along, then they probably just don't have that strong belief yet to put in the effort to that. And you might need to back up and just ask them, what's your hesitation with this? So let me give you guys an example, and then I'll open it up to other people. But this was a customer of mine that I've had from 2 years ago. She's my massage therapist. When I very first went to her, we got onto the Juice Plus conversation. That's easy, right? Somebody who's already into health and wellness, you can bring it into them. So even if it's just this, I think this is the question I said, Okay, so as somebody who's a massage therapist and you're taking care of other people's bodies all the time, I'm just curious, what do you do to support yourself nutritionally? How do you replenish your body after you've been working on others? And she said, that's a really good question. And then she was like, well, let me think about it for a minute. And she said, you know what? I was just thinking today, I wish that there was a way that you could get fruits and vegetables in a capsule. She said it. I was like, oh my gosh, you took me right there. She said, my parents will not eat produce. I'm having to take care of them. They're just not eating well. I wish there was a way. And I was like, Abby, I don't know how this came to be, but I have to tell you, like, God sent me to you because I have the answer. I work with a company that found a way to put fruits and vegetables in capsule. It was like, that's not always that easy, right? So I shared Juice Plus with her, but she didn't order that day. I was like, what? Like, I have this, what? And so it was a series of exposures. She watched some videos. I came back for a couple more massages. We had discussions about it. She ordered for herself and said, hopefully I'll get my parents on. I, of course, said, you know, there's a lot of your patients that are not eating, or clients that aren't eating enough fruits and vegetables. This would be an easy way to get into conversation to help support them. I would love to help you share this with more. I didn't know her, you know, we just didn't have a close connection. Like, she just wasn't sure. So let's fast forward 2 years later. I started going to her regularly again. And I said, you know, I'm just curious, has nutrition ever come up in conversation with your clients? And she said, yeah, it does. And I said, do you ever think of offering them Juice Plus? Like, I would really like to show you this easy way to get the information into their hands. And she was like, okay, you know, I guess I could see that. And I said, all you have to do is ask them, what are you doing to support yourself nutritionally right now? That's it. And just let them talk. I said, we know that chronic pain often comes from inflammation. Juice Plus helps reduce that inflammation. Everybody's interested in stronger immune system right now. We know the research shows that Juice Plus helps support that immune system. So I went through some of the research things with her. And then the next time I came, she said, you know what? I shared Juice Plus with one of my clients. So I fed her some of the verbiage that she would say, and then she used that. And I was like, oh, perfect. I mean, this is a great month. Your order is shipping out this month. Let's just move the order to you. I've already said that to her a couple of other times through the years. So this time she said, okay, let's do that. And so we, you know, we put her into the system. Her order moved over to her. Now, what's interesting is I've gotten no response back. I see her again on Thursday. She went out of town. Like, I don't know what she's going to do with this, right? But it's going to be like a little bit of a process with her, but I don't have expectations with her, and I'm not going to beg her to come along. Like, I've got people that really do want to work this. I'm going to work with them, and I'm going to bring her in, accept her as like, hey, you're a part of this. But as I'm giving her steps, I'm not getting information back. I can make a lot of assumptions about that, right? I can say she doesn't really want to do this. She is too busy. She's not really going to. I'm not going to spend time on her. I can make a lot of assumptions, but what I always go back to is she's just busy. She's busy. I'll catch her in a couple of days. She went out of town. She just hasn't been there. I'm sure she had conversations with people. Like, keep it positive in your mind, because they're going to feel that expectation too. Like, don't you think she's already like, dang it, I didn't answer Stacey's 2 text messages. If I go in like, girl, you didn't answer my 2 text messages twice. I sent you a message and I asked you questions twice. Like, how well is that going to go? But if I'm like, hey, no worries. Where'd you guys go this weekend? Did you have a good time? You know, like, we can start this at any point. We can start somebody, especially with the Restart program. There's no need to be frustrated with anyone or have unrealistic expectations for them. We can do this anytime. Let's get going. If they're not moving into action, it's okay. Timing's not right. They can whenever they want to. But if you don't have a plan of what you're going to do with a new team member, you will opt to do nothing. You won't invite people to your business because you don't know what you're going to do, right? Part of that is just doing it, inviting people in, letting your sponsor help you get that person started, and then you get more comfortable with that. But you need to have at least a basic understanding of the marketing system. You don't have to know all of the details through NMD. I'm talking to VF or QSC. Can you give somebody a quick explanation of how you get to the first commission level and the second commission level? Do you know what sales profit is? Like, if you don't, why would you feel confident inviting somebody into the business? You're not. And you're going to avoid the conversation because you don't want to look foolish. Like, I don't want to look foolish. I need to know some of those basics. So if you don't know the basics of that, that's probably one of the things that's holding you back from building a team. You're going to learn it as you go along. And like I said, rely on the support of that sponsor, but just some basic understanding of that. So that's what I would really recommend. I don't know if I can share screen. Let me see if I can. I can. Okay. Let me show you guys. And I know I don't want to distract or get anyone confused on the side of like, where do you go to sign to help a new team member? I have a website, jpstartup.com, that I use with my team. Most of it goes right back to Freedom Revolution. It's just the way my brain works in a visual format of steps of what do I do to get somebody through the funnel. We've talked about that before, right? A funnel is from introduction, moving them through to a customer, a team member, to a team member with goals. That would be like a sales funnel that we have. So for me, that's what this looks like. Sharing a resource, sharing your story with them, connecting them to a resource, following up, doing good customer care, and then inviting them to join your team. So each one just keeps repeating with someone. Then you help build their belief of who we are, help them share their experience, connect their people to resources, teach them how to follow up with someone, good customer care, and inviting people to join their team. And then it just keeps repeating. So that's what this is. Like I said, a lot of it is going to connect back to Freedom Revolution that you guys are using. This is just a visual format that made sense to my brain. On the compensation plan, I have this sheet that I came up with, and we used to use a sticky note sheet a couple of years ago. And I just like the visual side of something easy for a new team member to see what they need to have to get to the first and second commission level. This is so doable. It's very simple, and it doesn't seem too overwhelming to most of them if they're engaged enough to start doing some activity with you. So you would just write their name when they first order for themselves and their spouse. If they're doing a trio orders, it's 3.5 trio orders. So like 3 trios and an omega, or 3 trios and a shake. Obviously it can be a combination of any of the points. That looks like this here, but they're just going to write in the names of their customers to where they're getting up to 1,000 points. And then to get to QSC, it's just 9 more trio orders between them and one distributor, at least one distributor. So their team members' orders are going to count towards those. And then they write in the names of the orders as they come in. And you can let them know a $50 bonus, but if it in 30 days, if it's done in 10 days, it's $100. And same thing for QSC, 300 if done in the 60 days, and then 400 if done in 30 days. So again, this is a way for you, if you don't know the basics of the first commission level and the that side of it, this is an easy breakdown of what that would look like. You can memorize this easily. You could draw squares out on a piece of paper if you don't have something like that, or if you don't want to print this off, but this is an easy first steps. People that they want to help, have them list out 10 people that they want to share with. Teach them how to share on social media. Put the verbiage right in there for them. Ordering samples, that's an easy way to get points, especially when they're working on these last few orders. But if they're really serious and they want to have samples to hand out, that's an easy way to get some points at the beginning. And then scheduling those 3 events. Okay, so you can click on this and print it out. You can send them the link to your new team member. You could share that with them. And I find this is an easy way to get them going. It's 1 page, and that's all the training I'm doing. You don't have to do training with somebody. Once they're QSC, then you can do more training, or they're going to start asking you. If they're in activity, they're going to be asking you for information, and you feed it back to them as they need it. If you overwhelm them at the front with thinking they've got to know all of this, it will shut them down. This is what is going to get them customers. You have to know who you're going to talk to or who they're going to be talking to, putting it out on social media, not, hey, here's my link, buy some Juice Plus from me. And then 3 events that they can invite their people to. So that's where I will stop. I will open it up to you guys if you have questions, or if you want to add in what you guys do to attract team or get them started. And I'm muting myself.
Stacey, I love that. Oh my gosh. Especially, I mean, I literally consider you the verbiage queen. Like you have so many great tips. So thank you for that. Does anyone have any specific scenarios they want to take advantage of her amazing verbiage skills? Like I know I would love to hear, and I think you've mentioned before, like how you approach a mom in a grocery store that you see maybe like Pediasure or something in her cart or vitamins. I know you're so good at that. Like, how do you open that conversation? Because that's something that I struggle with. Like at Costco, you'll see people in the vitamin aisle with their fishy Alaskan salmon oil capsules with their, what's that protein mix they have? It's like those Premier Protein boxes on top of the Pediasure. And I'm like, I struggle with that.
So I will say I don't usually do cold market prospecting,
No?
but let's say I'm in the grocery store and I see a mom that has kids. Like I'm just going to reach out to her and, as a mom. I started a mom's group here in our small town, partly for that reason. I have a reason to go up and talk to her and start a connection because as a fellow mom, so I will just, mention something cute about the kids and then I'll ask if she's new to the area. And then I will say, I have no idea if you're interested, but I have this mom's group that I started. But you could say, I have this mom's group that I go to. Let's just say it's in that area. And then I tell her about that. And I'd say, I'd love to share, invite you to come join us. It's a great way to meet other moms. Then she says, yeah, that would be great. We connect on Facebook right there in Walmart. My connection doesn't end there though. I'm going to send her a message later and say, it was great to meet you. I'm glad you guys moved into the area. I hope you're getting adjusted well. I'd love to go to lunch sometime and get to know you better. She says, great, I would love that too, because she's new. She doesn't have friends. She's looking for people. I'm always looking for the new people moving in. They don't have established connections. They want friends. I like friends. I want friends. I want new people in my life. They've got a connection of people wherever they moved from. If they're ever going to become team members of mine, right? They're not going to be prospecting necessarily in my group of people that I know. They're going to be outside of that. And so I will make a connection to meet with them one-on-one just over lunch or coffee. I do that a lot. One-on-one coffee,
that.
lunch. Now I haven't done that as much because the whole COVID thing. So it's more like a connection on the just like conversations through Messenger, getting to know her. And then we've now started our mom's group up again, but I invited people over to come swim at my house. We're outside, one family at a time, or sometimes we had a group of us. But like, how can I meet a need that they already have and make that deeper connection? Because the chances of somebody we have them on our team, right? Like with Deanna Christofferson and Catherine Lee, that was a chance encounter at Walmart or whatever it was, and they had a conversation and they became a customer and all that. But I have found that it's very rare that you're going to hear back from somebody that's cold market. But if I can connect in a way outside of that and build some sort of rapport with them, some sort of like, hey, I've got something to help you with in life, not even on Juice Plus, be a helper to them before it becomes there. Then when I do bring up Juice Plus, the trust factor is there. They want to hear what I have to say because I've already helped them. So that's what I would say. Is there some way to bring into a conversation and connect, even if it's just like a play date? We should meet at the park sometime. If you've got kids the same age, then let that conversation go there. But I don't, honestly, for me personally, I don't find it goes well that I ever really hear back from them, even if I get to share information with them when they're cold market. So is there a way you can take that cold market and move it into some sort of connection? Now I have
that's exactly what we teach, right? You have to build a relationship before you make the intro.
Yeah. Now on an airplane, that's different, right? That's a cold market. They're stuck with me for at least an hour and a half, wherever we're going. You ask enough questions, you can build rapport pretty quick. You can find what their needs are. And then you offer Juice Plus. You ask questions, they're going to ask you questions back. So that's different, like a 5-minute encounter in the grocery store versus an hour and a half conversation next to, somewhere. You can get a lot more done that way. So that's a cold market, but you're still making that deeper connection.
Makes sense. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see what everyone's doing. Let's see if we can change our view to gallery. Kristen is folding clothes.
Stacey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did you create that website that for your team to start up new people?
Yes, I did.
And how did you do it? Did you use a website tool to use that, or?
Yes, squarespace.com is what I used. I find that one's easier than Wix. Wix is another one. But Squarespace is the one I like. I wouldn't do like, it does take time to have your own website, and to, put it into that. For me, I found it frustrating that we were using mission driven, then we were using freedom revolution. No, we're going back to mission driven. It was like constantly changing, and that is the way of this business. It's going to be changing, and it's just the way things evolve and flow. But I wanted something constant for my team, and that's why I started it. But I didn't get that going until I was a national marketing director. But whatever you do, you just need some sort of system in your mind. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I introduce. This is my next step once I introduce them. This is the next step. This is the next step. Even if it's your own and you pull from the resources that are out there already, but if you have a system in your mind, then you just go off of that. And if you want some ideas on that JP startup, there's at the top, it says sponsor guide. And on each level, it tells you what to introduce to them as a partner, what links to send them, like what your conversation needs to be. And then you just copy and paste the links at the bottom of like their next steps. And then the next is Partner Plus, and it's outlined on there exactly what to do with them. I just wanted to take the guesswork out of my team's mind so that they knew this is what I do next. And that's the process that I use. Some other, NMDs, I'm sure, have their own process, but you kind of have to find a process for you. Or like I said, you'll avoid the business conversations.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you guys are free and open to use that website. It's not just for my team, but I didn't want to confuse you guys too much, but it does link back to Freedom Revolution.
Is there a password for that or no?
No, there's no password.
Okay, thanks.
Stacey, I have a question for some of your amazing verbiage.
Okay.
So say you somebody signs up a partner, and we do the whole that you have to get Voxer, like how it kind of says in the startup guide, you have to get Voxer and we're going to do this. And then the person kind of panics. And then now everyone's hearing what you're saying, which seems like a much more smooth, easy, very nice transition in. How would you regroup back to those people who kind of had that, holy cow, I'm not one of those people moments, but now there's a softer way to have them in the business?
Probably I would go back to their experience with Juice Plus. Like if that's what excited them, let's get them excited again. Let's rev up bring that excitement back up. Now they've been on Juice Plus a little bit longer. Maybe they've had a few customers, have their customers had any sort of experience that they can kind of explore, and just that feeling of like, you helped them. Like, that's a really good thing. You've done a really good thing. Let's do more good things. And, let's keep sharing. So I'm not worried about getting them on Voxer until they're like probably midway to QSC. I mean, just honestly, because unless they're, I don't know, unless it's the conversation, they're like, let's do this. Like there was one girl, Lisa, I don't know if Lisa's on here, with Marissa. Lisa was like, I'm in this because I need to build some income. And I said, I can help you make money with this. Let's go. We got her on Voxer right away, right? Because she had goals. She was going to do this. We needed to communicate a lot together, and Voxer was the best way to do that. But if they're not seriously engaged, giving them a list of things before they're really confident, even in just their excitement about Juice Plus, like it's like this girl that's the massage therapist, I'm not going to tell her to get on Voxer. Like it would be, I don't want to get on Voxer. I don't even know why, what am I going to do with that? What I want
Right.
her thinking about is who can she share with, and then give her next steps. Like, let's just move into activity, get some wins underneath their belt, some excitement built, then their engagement is going to be more. You can get them on Voxer. And I don't add somebody to the Voxer team chats, just me personally, until they're via QSC.
Okay.
Because it's just overwhelming to them. I can feed them a little bit of information from those that they need, but their team engagement isn't there yet either. If we're on Voxer, if they're on Voxer, I want them in the chat with me where we're talking next step action steps or addressing issues that they're having, not, you know, getting distracted listening to other things.
Like that. Thank you, Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I'm the same. I have a separate Voxer with people individually, or like the group of them. Like, for example, you know, Kristen Winter's on here. We have a group with hers, and we just put what it is that they need in there. Sometimes I find that it is a lot of information for people who are starting out. So I love that you do that too.
Yep.
So let's see.
And then I would say too, like, don't get discouraged if, I mean, okay, I'll say this. I had a couple people that helped me get to sales coordinator because I needed, you know, way back 17 years ago, we needed VFs to help us to sales coordinator. So QSCs now. I got those and then they kind of fell away. I didn't really have somebody who really wanted to do the business with me until number 10. So distributor, actually she was distributor number 11. What if on number 8, that they were just happy being a family plan user or whatever, that I had said, you know what, this isn't worth my time. I'm spending all this time. I'm giving my retail profit and some of my commissions away to these people that really aren't doing the business. This whole business thing, I don't think this even really works. This doesn't even really work. And what if I had like stopped at number 8? I would have missed Joni, my, you know, SSC at that point because she was number 11. So, you know, just be patient with that. You may not have the skills to lead somebody that really wants to do it until you've worked through 10 people, you know, like you're developing the skills right away. I don't know that I could have done well with someone right away at number 3 if they were gung-ho. And like I needed to develop some skills, and then, you know, just trusting that process, you're going to find people in. But if you keep getting people in, they do nothing. I mean, I had up until that 11th person, I had 4 people that had gotten to QSC. So it wasn't that I was just getting people in and they were doing nothing and they were just staying. But if you have partner plus, partner on your list, then we do have to question ourselves, right? Like, what am I missing here with them? What's working and what's not working? What process do I have? Where's the missing link in that? Where's the the side of it that just needs tweaked a little bit? Maybe some verbiage, maybe some next steps. You know, bring your sponsor in to help you look at that process and see, okay, you're expecting a whole lot of them at the beginning and it's scaring them off. Do you ever come back to them? Do you know that they can restart? You know, there's 4 months later can make a big difference when someone joins as a partner and a customer at the same time. Their belief is going to deepen in 4 months. Maybe 4 months later when those orders ship again, they're going to be ready to really rev it up and like, okay, let's go. But are you watching that? Do you know, do you print out a list of who's on your team, who's got customers that are shipping that month? And it's like complicated to get there, but it can be done. Sharon and I can show you how to do that. But I print that out every 2 months. You know, let's say it was September and October. I'm looking who is on the downline that has even like 3 orders, and I'm just looking partner and partner plus. Those are ones that can restart to either partner plus or QSC. I'm looking who's got some orders this month that we can just be excited about that conversation. Maybe somebody got to partner plus and they had 6 orders, but they just never really went from there. But those 6 orders are going to be shipping again. They get to use those points now to QSC. and they've had 4 months of experience, and they've had 4 months of like seeing the community that we're a part of. Now maybe they're more confident and they're willing to engage and move in. You know, same thing with somebody who just signed up but never really did anything. 4 months later, they've got more excitement, a little bit more belief. You can move them to Partner Plus using those existing orders they had at the beginning. So the other thing too is I may be planting that seed at the beginning of those new customers, you know, entrance. And then I say, we have until the end of the month to move your orders to you. And, you know, we can revisit it that time. Then that's on me to revisit. 2 months ago, I didn't revisit. There were 2 of them, 2 that I really think strongly would have been distributors at that point. I forgot to go back. Like I just got busy at the end of the month. I didn't circle back around to them one last time asking them, okay, it's the end of the month. Do you want to move these orders to you? One of them, I know for sure she would have. And the second one I should have. Now in 4 months, I can do that again, but that's on us to bring that conversation back at the end of the month and invite them to join in. You can do that with any of your customers. Look at your customer base that you have right now. Typically we get customers, you know, the first 2 weeks, you have a really good customer experience is what you want to help with them. By the end of that month, you're inviting them, come on, let's partner together and, you know, let's do this. And then you can start them from there, but don't forget to circle back to them.
Stacey, I love what you said about simplifying new team members when they get started. If we can go back to that, because I remember, and you said like 11 and 8 and 7, I will throw myself under the bus. I was one of those people that would kind of just, you know, we used to have this checklist. It was kind of like, here's your checklist. It's your business. Get busy. But I will say that I've personally tried really hard to simplify that process, and exactly what you're saying. I have one of my newer friends on here, Vanessa. I don't know if she wants to comment, but with Vanessa, it was kind of like, okay, Vanessa, I'm so excited you got started. Let's make a list of, you know, 10 people. And let's get together and go through each one of those people. And I'm going to help you craft a text message or a call or a conversation to reach out to those people. And when you finish with those people, let's get 10 more people and go back through it. And she's had a lot of success with that. And I think that is what I was missing in my first 22 representatives, right? Is that hand holding, because you're right. In the beginning, I mean, just like me, it was all new to me. I just came from corporate America. I had no idea anything like this existed. So I think that hand holding in the beginning really helps build success. And she was able to get her QSC right away, which is really awesome.
And why did they give the sponsor $300?
Right, because of the work that we were doing with the hand holding process. Exactly.
It's a stinking lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to help somebody to QSC, don't think you're just going to hand them off and they're going to get there and then you get the check. Like you work for it. They need you. Somebody that really wants to do this, they're going to need your help, and you engage knowing the company's going to compensate you for that time, and then it's going to pay off as you go along the road. But you have to work for it to help somebody to get to QSC. Very rarely does somebody just get there and you don't have to have much involvement. You are right there with them. You're in the trenches. You're talking to their people. You're helping to answer their questions. And if you don't have that skill set yet, that's okay, because somebody else above you does. And you just keep going up till you find somebody that's willing to work as hard with you as with them as you are. But as leaders, that's our job too, with our people underneath us. If they don't have that skill set, we can't leave them there to start up that new distributor. If they've never gotten somebody to QSC, they're going to need your help. Like help them, walk in that trench with them. Like you're on the calls, you're in the Voxer chat, you're thinking of next step events, you go do events with them. Like you help show them the way to build their confidence that they can do that.
Absolutely. Vanessa, I saw you unmuted yourself. Did you want to say something?
Yes. Hi, how are you guys doing?
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with that. I have to say, I mean, Sandy has been a great part of my success because I work with her as a team. And it's very important. I mean, this business is about sharing help, but also holding each other's hand, because I don't know everything. As a matter of fact, I know very little. My experience was prior with the Juice Plus with the Tower Garden. That's how my first love, like I wanted to know everything about it. And I have to tell you, now I'm totally in love with Juice Plus and complete because it has does make a change in my health, as well as the sense of community that I have now. So I have to thank Sandy for holding my hand every step of the way. Now I am very, my goal for my next promotion is not only sell the product, but actually get more team members, because that's how I'm going to feel stronger, how to educate people and encourage people to get into this path. So I have to say thank you, Sandy. I mean, she's been holding my hand, answering my questions, anything that I need support, she's there with me. She travels a lot, so sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I mean, I don't want to, bother her, but at the same time, she's like, no, I'm right here with you every single step. This is fun for me. This is my life. This is my passion. So it's been a great journey, and I have to thank her for that.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa. And I would love to actually share a little bit about Vanessa's story of how she got involved. So for those of you who don't know, I met her at a green market, it was a green market, a holiday market at Green Bar, one of our favorite restaurants, years ago. She was on her break. She was the chef at the kitchen. She came out for a few minutes. Somebody said, you got to see this thing. She looked at it. She had literally like a minute and a half to talk to me. She loved it so much. She tossed me her debit card, which has never happened before to any, like ever. I don't know if anyone has happened. I mean, put your hands up if that's happened to you before, because never has that happened even today. She tossed her card at me and she's like, go ahead and order it. I'll be back inside. Just bring it to me when you're done. I was like, what? So that was almost 3 years ago. But here's the example of staying connected is I always saw, because she was a chef, she saw the value in food. I always saw the potential in Vanessa. So I would always stay connected with her. Every once in a while I'd invite her to an event, or I just text and see how her tower garden was going. And just recently during, when this craziness started, I just reached out to her with a simple message and just said, I think it was something like, hey, how's it going? I know it's a crazy time. I hope you're doing well. Would love to catch up with you sometime. And she came right back to me. I was like, I've been thinking about you. So it's kind of an interesting, this was a good case, right? Because, I do have a lot of those bad cases where I don't follow up with people. But here's a good case where I did keep that connection going with Vanessa over these years. And surprise, she's now a representative. And she was never, like she said, interested in Juice Plus. But because of Tower Garden, because she joined the company, she wanted, of course, to be a product of the product. And she's had a great result. I mean, she used to be, pre-diabetic for years, Vanessa?
Correct. 8 years being pre-diabetic. So before I started sharing Juice Plus, I say, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what it does for me. I stopped taking my multivitamin because I said, I read a lot about the product. One thing that got me very excited was the complete, because of the properties on the complete and how the benefits can be for people that are diabetics. So I say, I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to stop taking my multivitamin. Thankfully, I was never hooked up in any kind of medication, because I was always like fighting with my doctors. I'm like, I'm not taking medication. I don't care what you say. I'm going to control it with my diet. And I was very stubborn. I did not want to be in any kind of medications. So make no story short, I started taking Juice Plus and taking my one shake a day. And when I went back to the doctor, and as a matter of fact, it's funny because this is a new doctor. And I was just kind of like expecting the same thing, pre-diabetic, have problem with my thyroid, hyperthyroid, whatever. And when he gave me my results, he's like, everything looks great. I'm like, what do you mean everything looks great? I was like, really? I mean, no, in a bad way. I mean, I was very happy, but I was confused in a way. I'm like, oh my God. Then it clicks into my head. I've been taking this for 3 months. And I couldn't believe that in such a short period of time, with the little twist that I did in my diet and taking complete and Juice Plus every single day, could make that impact in my health. So that was a wrap for me. That was a no-brainer. So that's when I start going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, everybody needs to know about this. This is fantastic. I love it. And I'm so thankful to be part of this community right now, because it actually is changing my health and it's changing my life. So it's amazing. I have a great experience.
I love that. And you see what a good example where she, reminds me a little bit of Arlene, who I see is on here also. Arlene only wanted to talk about the Tower Garden. She really wasn't interested in Juice Plus, but the same thing, Vanessa tried Juice Plus because of she wanted to have the experience. She couldn't recommend it without trying it herself. And then turns out she had a great experience. Hi, Arlene.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate it.
No,
Arlene, did you want to say something? I saw you showed your camera with your beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you. You're sweet. Well, it wasn't, you called my name, so I was like, okay, in case you had a question.
Well, because you had a similar experience, right? You were all about the Tower Garden, but were, completely against the idea because you literally, I mean, I pretend to eat healthy in quotations, but you literally are the picture of an amazing eater.
Oh my gosh. I don't know about the picture, but I was raised on a holistic Ayurvedic whole foods diet. So Juice Plus made sense to me, but I just didn't think it was for me based on how we eat. And I was only interested in the tower because my grocery bill, I tell people all the time, it's more than my mortgage. And, I just wanted to cut some of that cost. And so the Tower Garden was what I was interested in. But then after doing, my research on Juice Plus's research, it was kind of a no-brainer. So there I am. You can't take either away from me. I own 6 towers and I take triple dosage of Juice Plus every day. And I just don't go without it.
Wait a minute. I feel like this is a secret. You take triple Juice Plus every day. This is what's going on. Oh, that's it. I got to head upstairs right now. I only take 1. I didn't know, Arlene.
No, I take a double dosage every morning, 4 reds, greens, purple, orange. A B12 and a D3 because I don't eat meat. That's it. And then around 3 o'clock or so, then I'll munch on gummies. And sometimes before I go to bed at night, I'll take another set of omegas just for a good night's sleep. It just depends on what's going on in life.
So double omega also?
I do, triple omega.
Triple omega. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So in the afternoons when I'm munching on gummies, and it's probably more than triple because I shove like my hand and I just grab a ton load of gummies and I eat. But in the mornings I will take double omegas, and at night before I go to bed, I'll almost every night I'll take 1 more dose of omegas.
Oh my goodness. We are getting such good tips here today. My gosh, not only do we have this amazing verbiage queen, but now we have Arlene's secret. For those of you who don't know Arlene, her birthday was just last week. She turned 67 years old. Just kidding. Just kidding.
She's like, Sandy, you're in
That's
trouble.
great. I need to go take some more Juice Plus too. So I have another question for as far as following up with your team. How often do you do this, and do you use TeamZ or do you just create your own method? And this is for anybody.
I personally don't use TeamZ, but I do make a lot of lists. I like a list of people I'm having current conversations with, a list of people that I would love to have on my team. So like a customer that ordered quite a bit, I would add them to that list, or that's having a good experience, so that when an event comes around, that I think, okay, this is a solid one that I feel I could confidently and excitedly invite to, I have that list already. So then I just come up with my verbiage, then I just go down that list inviting. I'm not expecting anybody to get on, and I don't measure the success of an event invitation by how many people I actually get on there. Let's be realistic. People are busy. They're tired of Zoom. They may not ever get on, or maybe 3 months before they ever get on a Zoom. So what I want to do is just restart the conversation, and that invitation is often the jump start again to get the conversation going. And then as quickly as I can, I want to get the conversation off of Messenger and on the phone. I can get a lot more done on the phone or in person than I'm ever going to be able going back and forth with a broken text thread. It's like having a 3-year-old in your conversation that constantly interrupts you. Like it just gets delayed and broken up and forgotten, and then you have to bring it back up. So an event invitation is just a way to me to bring the conversation back again, and then I can go from there and try to get on the phone with them. So that's true for product or business. Did that answer that?
You. Yes, thank you, Stacey. I appreciate that.
Sure.
I I love that 3-year-old reference because that literally is my life. I was just saying the other day, I don't get one task done except for this now because everyone is upstairs. I'm in the basement and the door is closed. I don't get one task done through completion. So my life is literally a conversation with not a 3-year-old, a 1.5-year-old. So that is so helpful. And people are busy. And I, going back to the getting people on events, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, but that definitely has been what I use so I don't feel like that broken record. We've had so many awesome events lately. I literally use that as the opener to start a conversation like you're saying. So even if it's someone like, like Vanessa or Christine, who I haven't talked to in a few weeks, I'm like, hey, my friends are doing a Tower Garden event. I know how much you love Tower Gardens. Any chance you're free? You want to jump on? So, I mean, that back to school series event had really helped me open up a lot of conversations. Hi, Matt. But yeah, that was really awesome. We got 2 minutes left. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. I see ya. Anyone have any more questions?
Anyone have a question for Matt who wants to be part of the conversation?
Matt, what are you having for lunch today? What is that beautiful wife of yours making?
Sandy wants to know what you're having for lunch. A juice plus shake.
I love it. Yes.
He really drinks more shakes probably than anyone we've ever met.
Oh
He
my
lives
gosh,
on
I
them.
love it.
And this is the man who ate meat and potatoes and only had ever had a Caesar salad in his life prior to this. So it's quite impressive.
I love it. We just got to get him to try it. That's the same case I feel like for everyone.
It has to be their idea.
Mm-hmm. Good point. That reminds me of my husband. It's funny, for years, it took him a while to get into this whole Juice Plus thing and actually take his capsules. It wasn't until we watched, I think it was Dr. Susan Silberstein had one of those videos that we got, and we watched it. And all the things I had been saying all the years never made sense. He never heard me. And afterwards, he was like, I think I'm going to try those colorful pills you got. I'm like, yes! It was like 3 years in, no joke. I think Kristen has a similar story with Eric also.
Yes, I do actually. But what I did want to say is, Stacey, I listened to your call about how, planting the seed or bloom where you are planted, which everybody should listen to that. It's amazing. I think it's wonderful to be able to have that ability to be able to, connect with people in that way. And it's not like you're trying to sell something to anybody. You're just having a conversation and sharing what you do. And I love that. So, if anybody has not watched that, I would highly recommend it. It was fantastic.
Great idea, Kristen. That was in the Team Transformers chat, but I'm going to copy into this one just in case someone has missed it.
And really, it's just go make friends. Go make friends. The conversation's going to come back to Juice Plus if it's supposed to, and it may not be now, but it may be a couple of months later. But, I don't want anyone to think that I'm using them for something. And that's, I think, what everyone, when they say, I don't want to be a salesperson, it's like, I don't want to have someone think that I'm engaging with them because I'm expecting something from them or hoping to get something from them. I'm engaging with someone because I have a lot to offer them. It may be a connection to something else in the community. It may be just somebody that cared enough to stop and invite them to coffee. It may be that it gets to the point where I get to share my health story with them, and it always does. It's going to get there. I don't have expectations of what can they give to me. My heart is, how can I serve them? What can I give back to them? What can I do to let them know that I care? And that opens in a ministry side of life that, I can share my testimony. I can share Christ with them when I've built relationships with them. It's ever reaching. And because I have the time freedom or the flexibility, I can invest in people in a way that I would not be able to invest if I had to work full time somewhere. And that to me is one of the best blessings of this business is I have the time to really deeply connect and invest with people without expectations, and I get to help them. So what does that helping them look like right now? versus a couple months from now, maybe even a year from now. But there's trust that's built with that, to where they come back to me and they, they ask me, okay, tell me more about that. Or my friend from junior high ordered 17 years later. Like, you just never know when somebody's going to be ready. 17 years, that's a long time that she's watched me do this, but she was ready. Then I was here, so when you're able to be present with people without expectations other than what I expect of myself, to have an open heart, an open mind, and love and connection with them. Nobody says, or if they do, I don't hear this, like, oh, watch out, here comes Stacey. She's going to be talking to you about that Juice Plus again, because that's not who I am. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not afraid people are thinking that. And if they are, then it must have been on my off day or something that I spoke with them, because it's just not what I hear back. And my husband always says, if you're afraid that people are going to avoid you, then go to church with Stacey, because everyone's like, hi, Stacey, hello. They're giving me a hug. I'm hugging them. I don't ever see somebody running away from me. If you don't want people to think you're awkward or weird, then don't be awkward and weird. That's it. That's my best advice right there.
I love it.
Okay, I have another question about events. So Tower Garden, like salad in a jar parties, for instance, right now, are you finding that people are comfortable to be together at this time, or are you still doing virtual events?
I haven't done another salad jar. I was just thinking maybe it's about time. Our state is still ridiculously locked down. Like, our kids are not in school. So it's like still extremely restricted, especially in our area. And none of us know why. We're not meeting the governor's standards. Like, don't let me go there. But there's still, because of that heavy restriction, there's still quite a bit of fear in people's minds, and they're not open to coming to the events. But there are people that are, and so that's who I want to focus on. So I think I'm at the point now that I'm ready to start doing some events. And if you invite and they're not comfortable, they're just not going to come. They're not ready for that. They're just going to say no thank you. But those that are, so we've done some events up in Utah with Marissa and Lisa, and they've had people come to those events, salad jar or the balls, or they're doing a burrito bowl event. So I think just go by maybe your area, but then also the people that you're inviting. And maybe I've been using that excuse, Kristen, and thinking people aren't going to come to events, but I'm still getting a ton of customers. It's not like the events are what got me customers. The conversations are what get us customers. The events are just the gateway to the conversation. So as long as you're still having conversations, you're still going to get customers, you're still going to get team. And events can be a lot of work unless you have other people to, offset and do that with you. But if you don't have kind of the longevity of lots of conversations started over time, then those events are going to bring those conversations, because you're going to have, people to invite to it. So I don't know, does that help?
Yes. Oh my gosh, so much, because as Sandy knows, I'm not an event person. I've probably done maybe 5 events. I don't know. But I do find that just having those conversations are the most beneficial for me. And it was good to hear, I know I need to get on the phone with people, and that's something that I prefer to either have a face-to-face conversation or texting, because I feel like I'm bothering people if I call them, but I think I need to get over that. So,
yeah. And ask them permission, right? So I'm not going to just call them randomly. They won't answer because I don't answer. When, I think I've gotten 3 calls, like, I don't see who the name is. I'm not answering. They probably don't have me in their phone. So I say, especially when they start asking price, guys, that's the perfect time. You say, you know what, I'd love to hop on the phone with you, because I want to make sure I set you guys up right, and I give you the right options for your family. We want to find the right fit for you. Do you have a couple of minutes right now? Is now a good time? And if they say yes, then we exchange phone numbers, and then then I call them right then. If now is not the right time, when is a good time? And try to set up a time for us us to talk. And then sometimes like I ask, hey, I would like to get on the phone with you, especially if it's more of a cold market person and you're like, crickets, like you never hear anything, then I can say, or I can send you the link. I just want to make sure I help you guys get set up. I just have some questions of who in your family is going to be taking it, what are their ages, because some of them may be able to get theirs free, and I want to explain that, and I think I can do that better on the phone. And then sometimes they're like, oh, okay. And so you know, you just want to make sure you get permission to call them. If you make a goal to get on the phone with 5 people a week, guys, just 5, one person a day, you're going to see results in your business. You're going to see things move forward, conversations that stalled out. You know, you're going to see results in 5 conversations, because you can hear the need, you can explore, you can go to the point of inviting them to the team. On the phone, you can get there faster, where it may take 3 months to do that in text messaging.
Stacey, I have a question for you during these times. So like for your new distributors, you know how you said, oh, I'll help them get 3 events and then help them get started with that. In this weird climate, so how does that work? Is that a Zoom event, or are you inviting them to like some of these other things like Wellness Wednesdays, or what are you using for your events for the new people?
All of that. You know, it just depends on where they're at, right? Like, what's your area like? If I'm long distance to them, obviously I'm not going to fly across the country to do their first event, although if they asked me, I probably would do it. But, you know, I'm going to do online events for them, and then they can use events that are already established. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be your event that you do with them. As long as they're treating it as their own event, you can do a Zoom and watch the doctor, you know, event that's going to be that night. It's just a matter of conversations inviting them to that event. And again, that's the start of that. But then once they've gathered a couple of people that, like, yes, they're interested, they've got some conversations, then we try to do a Zoom event to get them on, just to hear it from somebody else and that third party validation.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
girls,
'cause
I don't know if you noticed, but it's 1:09 p.m. Yikes, I'm gonna get in trouble with my boss. She's gonna say, oh, you can't host anymore. So I don't want to cut anybody off. If you want, go into we're live right now in the Team Transformers chat. Just go ahead and put some comments in there and we'll get to them later. But I don't want to take any more of your time because we want to respect everyone's time. So thank you so much for Stacey. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacey. It was amazing.